Tonight, one day after the release of the 2019 Common Entrance results, Hot 7 wants to know, is the exam a necessary stress for students? The Secretary General of CARICOM has some questions about free trade where marijuana is concerned.
You need to understand, cannabis right now is a banned substance for international trade, It is governed by a protocol at the United Nations. And no country is allowed to trade.
And the World Pediatric Project partners with the Ministry of Health to hold the second annual Free Scoliosis Clinic. All this and more coming up in tonight's broadcast.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovely and Amy Joseph.
Good evening. It is Tuesday, the 2nd of July, 2019. Welcome to the Hot 7 Nightly News. We're on Flow Channel 117, also being simulcast on Kiss FM 105.5 and 105.9 radio. You can also watch us on our free mobile app. Just search for Caribbean Hot FM in the Play Store. I'm Rochelle Gonzalez, standing in for lovely Saint Amy Joseph. A prelude to the 40th meeting of the heads of government of CARICOM provided media with access to dialogue with Secretary General of the organization, Erwin Larocque, with CSME looking to provide free movement of goods, services, and capital. The question was placed, how would a unified CARICOM approach the free movement of marijuana, especially with the plant being legal in only some of the member states? Solange Alfred tells us more.
The Caribbean is seen as an idyllic location, with beautiful beaches, friendly people, and lush vegetation. The islands are also seen as the perfect environment for the cultivation of cannabis. However, with many islands prohibiting the cultivation, sale, and use of marijuana, many islands are unable to tap into the economic benefit of the cash crop. During a recent press briefing held at the GIS studios, Secretary General CARICOM Erwin Larocque answered many pressing questions on matters affecting the region, specifically a call for a unified decriminalization of the plant in all member states. Larocque says CARICOM has already taken the necessary steps to move in a united direction on the matter.
The Commission report is actually available on our website for those who would wish to read it and to see what's being done. And it is a basis upon which our member states are utilizing to see how they treated the matter domestically. The commission was an independent commission. It was deliberately an independent commission that went out. I believe it was able to consult in all but 2 member states, if my memory serves correctly. So they got feedback from a range of different stakeholders, those in favor of, those not in favor of, in terms of decriminalization or the use or the medicinal use of the herb. We consulted, as I said, a wide range. So that document is the base document upon which member states would, at the national level, determine how they treated the matter. Because you still have contending interest groups at the national level. That some say you should not decriminalize and some say you should keep the status quo as it is. So that's where we are.
In addition, he says the Marijuana Commission report is a comprehensive report that takes into account factors affecting developing states. The next steps, he says, is for the member states to make their decision.
It's a tremendous piece of work. It's available to the public, very well informed from the medical standpoint, from the social standpoint, from the religious standpoint, from the impact on youth and the fact that you are caught with one spliff and you have a criminal record for how long. All of these matters were taken into account, and the recommendations are there. The member states now need to determine how they act upon them.
Although the Caribbean single market and economy focuses on the free movement of people, goods, and services, Larocque sought to clarify marijuana remains an illegal international trade.
You need to understand, cannabis right now is a banned substance for international trade, It is governed by a protocol at the United Nations, and no country is allowed to trade in marijuana or marijuana products unless it's under some very, I know there's the question of how do you treat with medications that are derived from the cannabis plant, and even that is under some discussion. Even within the United States, where some of the states have liberalized, you can't transport the herb across the state borders, the state lines. So we're not encouraging anybody to start moving with marijuana. You will be arrested. There's no doubt about it.
Meanwhile, LaRoque says CARICOM member states continue to address the issue on a national level, as in the case of Jamaica. He says the potential for medical marijuana has been highlighted, with some member states already creating patents for medication derived from marijuana. LaRoque says the most controlled system for the plant is the pharmaceutical industry, which member states have been looking into. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solange Alfred.
The highly anticipated results for the 2019 Common Entrance exams were released on Monday, July 1st, bringing joy to most and disappointment to others. However, the discussion is being raised questioning whether the exams are still necessary. There are also concerns raising that the exams may be causing stress to the youngsters, leading to them underperforming, thus not receiving the results they were truly capable of. The Hot 7 News team took to the streets to ask, is Common Entrance an unnecessary stress on students?
There's always room for improvement, but whatever they're doing now is good, because the teachers are very proud of the how would I say, of what the children have done, and then they've been improved all along. Some certain schools have also improved too. So, but as I said, there's always room for improvement.
Honest opinion on that one is maybe seriously it's a whole lot of stress on the children, because right now you're seeing a whole lot of the youths they're really not even interested in staying in school anymore. All of them just want to come out into the world. Girls just want to, go around, get paid. The guys just want to be like all the other guys they see. So I think they should just do like normal, when every term they got a little test running. But that big thing about that, final exam thing, CXC Common Entrance thing, they should take a closer look at it, man, because maybe it got putting stress on them for sure. So maybe they can, put it aside and just assess the children and place them into the necessary secondary schools they need to go to. If they gotta go to the college, then that thing there, then the parents, the guardians gonna pay that money for them and get them there. Keep them in school. Maybe the exams really stressing them out.
Personally, I'm of the opinion that the assessment would be a good idea. However, since the Common Entrance have been there for all those years, for the students, that would be a great thing. But based on my personal experiences with my children, I think the assessment would be an excellent thing. Children, different, and there are different teaching styles. It's not every student that can read from the blackboard, and it's not every teacher that will deliver to reach to everybody in the classroom. Not every secondary school that has the very same subjects and curriculum. So I think the assessment would be an excellent thing, because every child is gifted differently, and assessing them would help pave a way for their future and their education. So I think it would be an excellent thing.
I just feel that the assessment is very good, because it gives the kids the opportunity to be assessed from grade 1 all the way to grade 6, rather than you just have them doing this one exam, which puts a lot of strain on them. Because what you find is that the children, they perform very well up to grade 6, and then when they go to Form 1, that's when you find that they collapse. So the assessment is much better.
So you feel that the old system of them, the Common Entrance exam, they should take it out?
Yeah, I believe the old system should be out, and the new assessment program should be in place.
What you're saying there is true. If they take the time of their study, that means they're not going to be under no stress.
In my opinion, stress brings out the best in everybody. So you have to have a little bit of stress for you to prepare them for the future. Now, is it too much? Maybe. But at the same time, our world is getting more difficult, so we're just getting them ready for what might come in the future. That's why we have all that stress. And
the assessment.
With regards to the assessment, I think that although it might sometimes prove that the assessment over that period will be enough to tell you what the person will be like in the future. Change can happen at any time. Somebody could do poorly for these 4 years, leave primary school, and then in secondary school just get their act together, and then they could be a completely different person. So you never know what could happen. A lot of possibilities.
In my opinion, with stress, everybody has to face stress.
For example,
life. So a little stress is not too much, because, for example, look at CXC. We have like from Form 1 to Form 5, everything you've been taught, it'll be tested in one exam for multiple subjects. So to me, stress, well, it's something normal. So it can be something good and bad at the same time. Depends on the students and their capabilities. And all.
Well, some people saying it's too much stress on them, but for me it's not too much stress because our children is our future and they need their education because education is the key. And I'm not going to say that, all I can tell you is that they should just, have the children to have their tests and do what they have to do.
Are we turning away our brothers and sisters in a time of need? A clarion call for a more humanitarian approach to be taken with refugees fleeing Venezuela was placed before the Secretary General of CARICOM, Erwin LaRocque. In compliance with the rules that govern CARICOM, he says, a long-standing issue of Venezuela and its people will receive a level of non-involvement as St. Lucia plays host to the 40th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of CARICOM to be held on the 3rd to the 5th of July. Discussions will involve the impact of migrants from Venezuela on member states. Here's Solange once again.
With certain member states within CARICOM calling for the recognition of Juan Guaido as the legitimate president of Venezuela, Secretary General CARICOM, Erwin LaRocque, says member states do differ on the issue of Venezuela. However, the adherence to principles which govern the Caribbean community overshadow those differences and will continue to guide CARICOM member states as to non-interference into a country's politics.
There are issues on Venezuela upon which some member states have a different view. But there's a common view on a number of issues that we adhere to very, very strongly. The principle of non-interference, non-intervention. The issue that there must be dialogue between the opposition and the government. The issue of non-politicization of aid. The issue that there must be a peaceful resolution. The issue of the recognition of the Constitution and the rule of law. All of which are principles up to this day that every single member state, whether they recognize Juan Guaido or not, or they recognize President Maduro or not, adhere to those principles.
Some have argued that the act of sitting back and not interfering is greatly affecting neighbors of Venezuela, namely Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago, with both countries seeing an influx in refugees from the Latin nation.
Already we're seeing the consequences for Trinidad and Tobago in terms of what's happening in Venezuela with the number of refugees who are entering and the negative impact some of that may have on the community. And it's not only as far as those two countries, they're moving up the chain of islands. So the region remains very united on these principles of non-interference, non-intervention, dialogue. We were the voice in the wilderness. They said, how could you be asking for dialogue when the situation is so bad? But guess what? There is dialogue taking place. And we have, the small group of heads have reached out and have done some things, and now we hear another country is allowing for dialogue to take place. So the community was spot on in terms of what the principles are adhered to.
And what of our moral compass for the humanitarian need facing those seeking refuge? LaRocque says the issue is one that comes with a hefty cost.
The issues of refugees is one, as you know, that is not unique to our region. We know what's happening in other parts of the world, and these things are issues are governed by international convention, international law. And basically the region subscribes to those issues. Of course, the costs of these things can be quite prohibitive. And these two countries, especially Trinidad and Tobago, that's where the greatest number thus far. So we are apprised of what is going on, and is there a common position? I think the other countries are not experiencing anywhere near that.
LaRocque says a de-escalation of the situation is the best way to pacify the condition. He recognizes the negative impact any sort of violent uprising will have on not only Venezuela, but its CARICOM member state neighbors, Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solange Alfred.
You're watching the Hot 7 Nightly News. When we come back, the management of CARILEC and the NWU reach an agreement, and young persons living with scoliosis will soon be able to receive treatment for the condition with the upcoming free scoliosis clinic.